Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona and Mallorca. Later down this video, we're also going to be talking about Hansi Flick and Mason Greenwood. Everything is going to be organized down below on the timeline. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm happy that you guys are here. This is where we talk about everything regarding FC Barcelona. And also, if you guys are USA fans, or if you guys like to talk about the MLS, and maybe you are an MLS fan, I do have another channel called The American Dynasty. So go check that out. There's also going to be a link down below in the comment sections, so feel free to support and also subscribe. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And so let's do this, and let's talk about Barcelona versus Mallorca. Now, interesting stat, Barcelona have played 10 matches without Araujo this season, and we have only lost one match without Araujo. And the reason why this is important is because tomorrow against Mallorca, Barcelona will be without Araujo. He did have a red card. The defender is going to be suspended, and so it is going to be up to the rest of the defenders to really bring out a great defensive performance. Now, Barcelona is also expected to win against Mallorca because in the past 15 years, Mallorca have been unsuccessful on beating the Catalan club, and tomorrow it should be no different. It's going to be a very tricky game, to be honest, because I don't know what this starting 11 is going to be. It's unpredictable with Frankie and Pedri out and also Araujo out. XaviHernandez definitely had a lot to think about. Now, I know that it seems like the end of the world because of how many players are getting injured, but we have to keep pushing. We have to continue to compete for all competitions because we are alive in all competitions. Joan Laporta and XaviHernandez had a few words to say to the fans and how Barcelona think about the two competitions that we are in. And so this is what Laporta said, and I quote, "We cannot give up. We as culés can't give up. We can never throw in the towel. We can't say in advance that we won't fight. We have to fight until we can't breathe." XaviHernandez also said, "There is still a league. We don't throw in the towel. We're going to try until the end. The team is motivated and we have the opportunity to put a little pressure. The league is not gone. It's the message. We missed an opportunity at San Mamés, but we have another one. We can put pressure. There are 11 games left and we can't only just think about the Champions League." So yes, it's true, Barcelona could have gone above Girona by this time because all they had to do was win against Athletic Club at San Mamés. But let me tell you, I honestly think that a 0-0 scoreline at San Mamés was a decent result. We could have lost. Athletic Club clapped us in the previous game. In the game before that one, it could have ended 2-0, 3-0 because of how strong Athletic Club is. It's a well-functioned team made by Ernesto Valverde, and so to see a 0-0 scoreline, it was great because Barcelona from a defensive standpoint have improved, and so we'll take the point, and I believe that Barcelona should also take the point and just go on to the next match and continue to win all the matches. We need to have an elite mentality. I remember, right, I was watching this game between Bayer Leverkusen and like some other team, I forgot who it was, but they have just came back from a 2-0 deficit during a game. I think it happened like about 3 to 4 hours ago. I was looking at the match and I'm like, these players did not throw in the towel at 2-0. Even though Xabi Alonso's men were losing in such a disappointing way, they managed to get a tie and ended 2-2. They fought for that tie. They did not believe that they were going to be losing so early. And I remember looking at the players and I'm like, this is exactly how Barcelona should be acting, is to play better, become better. When you lose and you're losing through a match, you play even more intense. Xabi Alonso nailed everything correctly in that game, and I hope that Barcelona can do the same if they ever encounter a situation like this. Now keep in mind that Mallorca is not going to be an easy team. Historically, yes, Barcelona have always been better than Mallorca, but recently Mallorca beat Girona 1-0. So what makes us think that Mallorca are not going to be thinking that they cannot win against FC Barcelona? They're for sure going to go against Barcelona and say, we have already beaten Girona. We can definitely beat FC Barcelona. We just need to try. And I hope that's not the case. I hope that Barcelona take the game to them and in front of our fans, because that is what we should do. So XaviHernandez also spoke about the current fitness issues that they're going through. He talked about Pedri specifically, and this is what he said. "I told them it was his last injury and that he had to be positive. It's not as serious as we thought." So this is exactly what we talked about yesterday in yesterday's video. We were saying on how Pedri did encounter a brand new injury. It was not a relapse, meaning that Pedri is going to be coming back much sooner than expected. XaviHernandez also said, "We will make some changes. We don't think about Tuesday. We think about fatigue, about players with many minutes to prevent injuries." And so again, seeing that Araujo is going to be out, Frankie and Pedri is also going to be out, Xavi is definitely also thinking about the other players that are available that are fatigued, meaning that the 11 is going to look very different. There is going to be some rotation. I can't even imagine how XaviHernandez would feel if he sees another player getting getting injured. So I do see him rotating in the match against Mallorca. And so this is going to be my proposal and what I believe Barcelona should be placing out on that night. And so I do see Ter Stegen in goal, Hector Fort as our right back, Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez as our center back pairing, Cancelo on the left back position, our midfield being Andreas Christensen and Gundogan with Joao Felix as a 10, Rafinha on the right wing, Lewandowski as the striker, and Vitor Roque on the left wing position. Yes, I do see Koundé getting rested because he has played so many minutes this year. He has not rested not once, and I do think that it only makes sense to have Koundé get rested or just come in later in the match just so we can be so fresh in the match against Napoli. Araujo again is not going to be playing, so the fact that Koundé and Araujo can rest in this match would be amazing. Fermin Lopez, I think that he'll come in later in the game, and I think that we're also going to be needing Fermin Lopez in the next match against Napoli. Lamine Yamal, I heard that there was like some rumors and reports about Lamine Yamal going through some sort of fatigue. I don't want to take any risk at all. If Lamine Yamal feels anything, have him rested because I know that eventually Lamine Yamal is going to be needed in the future, and especially again against Napoli. Besides, he is one of our most creative players. So now I do want to move on towards Hansi Flick because look, I know that we have just talked about on how Barcelona cannot throw in the towel. We have to come in with an elite mentality. Let's talk about the worst case scenario because there has been some sources, and I have been asking a couple of people that have been working closely at Barcelona, like these journalists, right? There has been some talks about if in these next 2 games it does not go well for Barcelona, XaviHernandez could get dismissed, meaning that if we struggle against Mallorca, like if it ends 1-0, or if it ends like 1-1 or 2-2, and then we get knocked out of the Champions League in the next game against Napoli, there is a huge chance that Joan Laporta might say, XaviHernandez, you are dismissed. And this is also going to be explaining the reason why Deco, Barcelona, and like everybody that works within the sporting department have been working closely with the agent of Hansi Flick. This is the reason why there has been so many conversations going on between them. And so this is going to be the latest reports regarding Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick has suggested to Pini Xavi, his agent, to offer his immediate services to Barcelona. He is very excited to take on the job to an extent that he has offered to take part in squad planning for next season. He has prepared his plans as a potential Barcelona coach. However, Barcelona are yet to decide on whom to hire as the next coach. They have multiple options in that aspect and want to choose the best one available. It is expected that his decision will take around a month. So let's be very well aware that Barcelona are assessing all of the options right now. I know that we have just heard that Deco said that we're not looking at other coaches and that we have to wait until the summer. Of course, Deco is going to be saying that because why would he be saying that they're looking at other coaches and speaking with other coaches in the middle of the season? No one wants to hear that. Not the fan base, not the coach, not the players. All the focus is on this season, and we're just assuming that everything is going to go well with XaviHernandez for these next 4 to 5 months. We just have to keep it in that way. So it makes sense for Deco to deny that. But like I've said, if we get knocked out against Napoli and we struggle against Mallorca, Barcelona might pull in Hansi Flick. It's going to be surprising the world because not many of us, and in the world of football, follow Barcelona closely like we do. So I don't think that it's going to be De Zerbi or Tuchel that are going to come in right after XaviHernandez because look, these are 2 coaches who are currently coaching Brighton and Bayern Munich. Like they're in the middle of the season. There's no way that you can just pull out a coach while that coach is still working with a specific club. Only Hansi Flick would be available because he's not coaching any club. And so look, ideally, I just want to see Barcelona do well and send off Xavi in the best way possible. I want to go into the quarterfinals and compete. And I also do want to finish La Liga in either second place or first place. And so if Hansi Flick does come in, I expect him to receive the exact same amount of demands like how we saw Xavi come in for Ronald Koeman. When Xavi came in, we're like, okay, it's all right. This is going to be a throwaway season. All we need for Xavi to do is to keep us in the top 4, and that's it. The Champions League, we can just throw it away. Every other competition is fine. We just want to be in the top 4, maybe win La Liga, and that's it. Xavi can make mistakes. That was the whole approach that we had with XaviHernandez when he first came in. The same thing is going to go on with Hansi Flick if he does come in the middle of March. We're just going to be saying, all you have to do is keep us in the top 4, and then in the summer, make your transfers, make your exits, and then we'll finally criticize you in the next season. And so now lastly, I do want to speak about Mason Greenwood. Now, this is what Sport have been claiming. Barcelona's plan is to sell an attacker to make room for Greenwood. His ability to overflow, change of pace, sense of goal, and versatility is valued at the club. Barcelona are interested in signing Mason Greenwood, who ends his contract with United in 2025. Barcelona have already asked about the situation of the player. Now, there are 2 reasons why I don't want this move to happen. Point number 1, he's a right winger, but he can also play in different positions. I am okay with Mason Greenwood. I don't want him. Yes, he's a great player, but if he's going to be taking spots on the right wing position, we have Lamine Yamal. We're also going to be investing in Messinho, who currently does play in Brazil. If you say, but Mason Greenwood can play on the left wing, again, I'm still okay because Ansu Fati might get called back up up, and I want to see Ansu Fati succeed at the club, and I think that he'll do well after having a great spell at Brighton. And then you can also say, but Kevin, he can also play in the striker position. Why not place him there? I'm still okay because we're going to be having Vitor Roque, Lewandowski, Marc Gui is going to be having his contract extended. I want all of those players to receive good minutes next season. There is no room for Mason Greenwood. You have to be at the level of Kylian Mbappe or Erling Haaland in order for us to consider taking some minutes away from our current players or our loanees. Second point, there is this thing that has been going on in his life that I'm not really going to entertain. I'm not here to talk about people's personal life. People, yes, do make mistakes, but this is not the channel for it. This is not Kardashians.com or Gossip.com. This is not a YouTube channel where we talk about and criticize a player's life. I just don't do that. I'm not going to be explaining what he did about a year ago. All I'm going to say is this. There's a big reason on why his market value decreased from 50 million euros to like 7 million euros. You can see right here the big difference that he has had back between December 2021 and March 2022. He did something within that time that led towards Man United not wanting to be with Mason Greenwood and just disconnect themselves with the player. Then he moved on to go to La Liga, to Getafe. But he did something, and there's a big reason why the graph drastically changed in this way. Obviously, I don't want Barcelona to sign a player like him with what he did. It's going to really damage the image of Barcelona. I think that him going to Getafe, it really doesn't matter because Getafe is not as big as Barcelona. Getafe can take the hit with no problem. No one's going to say anything. But the moment a big team like PSG, City, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Inter Miami, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, if any of those clubs go on and sign Mason Greenwood, of course, people are going to be questioning why the club would do something like that. And it's just going to be staining the image. And I don't even think Barcelona can afford that right now. We need to keep our image extremely healthy and just move forward from there. I'm okay. But that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.